You can never make me feel envy. When I know deep down you feel empty. That's why you overcompensating. Your moves don't match what you be saying. I wanna stay but you be playing. How many times I gotta say this? Welcome to my channel. My name is Janique. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in today. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a 6-month update on my Houston stay. I moved to Houston a little over 6 months ago, and this video is actually going to have 2 parts. Right now we're going to be discussing how I relocated, and I'm going to be giving you some tips on how you can relocate from the city that you're in to a city of your choice so you can go ahead and get your new life started. So if you want to watch more, stay tuned. All right, so how I moved to Houston. Now, this has been a long-term goal of mine, probably for like 10 years. Like, this is so sad. Just saying it out loud, it's like, dang, it took you 10 years to do something. But anyway, timing is not important. Don't think about how long it took you to do something. As long as you did it, it happened. Like, you accomplished the goal. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to do it. So, I actually used to be stationed at Fort Sam Houston before in San Antonio. And I knew I wanted to live in Texas. Period. I knew it. I just didn't know where in Texas I wanted to live. I came to visit Houston a few times and I love what I saw. I actually was planning to move here in 2016, but when I came out to visit, when I got back home, I found out I was pregnant. So that put a little damper in my plans. And then I planned to move again in 2020. I went down to look at places, but I wasn't able to find anything. And for me, that was a sign because I'm really big on things going smoothly. That's how I know God is involved, you know. So I didn't make the move in 2020, but when my lease was about to be up in 2021, I was like, let me go ahead and just stop playing and just go ahead and make the move, because worst case scenario, you can always move back to where you're coming from. You don't have to make a decision permanent. It's up to you. It's your life. You can do what you want to do. Every day you wake up, you can choose to do what you want to do. So don't harp too hard on whether or not you want to move. Just, you know, experience it. So when I started thinking about my lease being up and renewing another lease in Charlotte, and actually let me say this. I'm actually not originally from Charlotte. I'm from a little small town called Bishopville, South Carolina. And I was actually born in Hartsville because Bishopville is so small, they don't have a hospital. So, but I'm from Bishopville and I moved to Charlotte when I was like 8 years old. And I stayed in Charlotte. I grew up there from the time I was 8. So I got to experience different types of people because I was originally from South Carolina. Now, after or during high school, my senior year, I actually enlisted in the military and I left a few weeks after I graduated. So I got to experience different types of people again, being in the military. And I was like, you know what? These people are not bad compared to where I come from. Like, these people, I can rock with these people. They have different personalities. And I think people from other places are so interesting. It's like, I'm like, I just want to try something different. I just want to make this move, like, and it's a big move too. So I'm like, let me just prove it to myself that I can do it. It's too easy. So I planned it in a few weeks, right? Now, the planning is going to be the most important part of whatever I'm going to tell you today, because if you do not plan this out, it won't work out for you. God can only carry you but so far. You have to make a plan and action on your own. All God does is give you the ideas, right? So first thing you need to plan for is your budget. You need to budget everything. That way you know how much money you need to save to complete your move. Now, a couple of things are going to go into your budget. First of all, you need to budget for a moving truck. Depending on how far you're going to move, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be pretty far. You can either have your stuff shipped to you, or you can like move your stuff yourself. Now, I decided to move everything myself because why not? Why not? I never drove across country before. It was supposed to be a 14-hour drive. It actually ended up being 20 hours. I drove it by myself. I had my son in the U-Haul with me. Now the U-Haul, actually, it was like a 20-foot U-Haul because I have a 2-bedroom place. So it said that was the space to fit all that stuff. So make sure you pay attention to the size, and you want to get a quote early. That way, again, you know how long you have to plan. I would say definitely plan to move around the time your lease ends. That way there's not too much confusion. You understand? You could plan for your new lease to start right after your old lease is going to end. Make sure everything runs smoothly. So with the moving, right? With moving, there's a couple of things you have to take into effect for the budget as well. So not just the U-Haul. Again, mine was $900. And I actually got to pay them there. I didn't have to put a deposit down or anything because I paid cash. So if you are planning not to use cash, then you're going to have to put a deposit down for the truck. And You can do pick up at one location, drop off at another location, and you need to plan to have somebody meet you at your place that you're moving from. So you have to pay for movers there, and then you have to pay for movers at the place that you're moving to. Now, the movers normally can run you about $75 an hour, $100 an hour. It just really depends on who you're choosing. U-Haul actually has a section on the website where you can actually order movers with your truck. So I didn't do that this time because I was kind of trying to make sure I saved as much money as possible before I got there. Let me tell you a funny story. So I actually did not book movers for I did not book movers from Charlotte for through U-Haul, through the U-Haul site. I booked them on like another website because I was just Googling stuff like how much are movers and stuff like that. And I just went with who had the best rate, I thought. So I saw a place that said they did $40 an hour. So if you see this online, it's a scam. It gotta be. Let me look it up. It's like I forgot what it's called. It's so funny. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a Uber but for movers. So literally you can be a mover and you can sign up for this app, and anytime they got a job for you to move some stuff on, like you'll show up to the location, right? So I have all my stuff packed and I'm just ready to go right on the day of my move. And I didn't even end my lease early or nothing. I just planned, I had everything packed. I moved out on the day before my lease. And it's so funny. I'm gonna get into another story, but I left later than I wanted to leave. So I'm leaving days late. I was super late when I moved. But anyways, on the day of my move, I got a knock on the door from the guy. So I come out, he was like, hey, I'm from this, and that. I'm your mover. I said, well, where's the other guy? I ordered 2 movers for 2 hours. He was like, well, I don't know the other guy. I said, what do you mean you don't know the other guy? Y'all work for the same company. Now, I didn't know it was what it was reading off the website. It was acting like it was a regular moving company. He tells me the details about, oh yeah, I'm a mover. I just access the app when I want to work, and if I want to pick a job, I can do that. He said, so the guy might have picked the job and just decided to not show up. I said, who does that? What kind of stuff is that? What, huh? So he was like, well, you booked me for right now, so I'm gonna just go ahead and start moving stuff. I said, this stuff that I have is not a one-person stuff. Like, you're not about to break my things. He's like, oh, I'm gonna handle it. Bro, stop moving stuff by yourself. Well, not only is it dangerous, stop trying to act like you're gonna get this money by yourself. You're not. I have a canopy bed. I have a sectional. My boy, like, it's not gonna work. Like, he was not the guy. And I could see if he was super physically fit, he was not prepared for the job. I'm just gonna let you know, not to do it alone. So I ended up having to have somebody come and help him out, or he called his homeboy as well, but I had somebody come as well. But I'm like, what kind of ghetto stuff is that? So the move started off all wrong, but it was still okay. So remember our budget now. I said $900 for a U-Haul. I went from Charlotte, North Carolina to Houston, Texas. Again, when you go on the website, you'll be able to put this information in. You are going to also plan to pay for movers. Again, it could be up to like $200. For people to move. It just depends really on how much stuff you have. So you also need to plan where you're going to be staying when you go to the place. And you need to also plan to see if you can actually go physically there to look at places in person, because the worst thing is coming across the country and coming to a place where you have to live for a certain period of time and you hate it. Like, I can't imagine it. But I would recommend signing a smaller lease, like a 6-month lease. That way you can at least see if you like the neighborhood first before you commit to staying there. Me personally, I didn't do that, but I should have. I never signed a lease that short before, so I didn't do it. But with the apartment or with the home search, if you're buying a home, it's a deeper process, which I'm not going to go into. In another video, I will break down the home buying process, because for those of you who don't know, I did work for a major bank for a long period of time as a mortgage banker. So I'll talk about that in another video, but I'm going to talk today specifically to the renters, because I don't really see too many people actually moving into a house when they first come to a city. Normally they like to stay in an apartment just to check out the area and see what's up. Now, Houston has a lot of subdivisions, and I'm going to talk about that in part 2 of the video mostly, but it's all kind of neighborhoods to choose from, so you can't possibly see everything online. Like, coming in person is going to be the way to go. Now, when I went in person, I did not find anything I liked until the last day I found a place, but it wasn't going to be ready for a few months anyway. Still ended up not going with that place. This time I did not come in person. I looked at places online and I had virtual tours and stuff. And basically I just took a shot in the dark and I prayed for the best. With the apartments, you have to plan for application fees. You also have to plan for administration fees, deposit, you know, if applicable, and also your first month's rent, which normally is prorated. Now, or it can be, depends on if you move in the middle of the month, you know your rent is going to be prorated. If you move in the beginning of the month or at the end, you know you're going to have to pay a full month. So, let's see. Now, what's so important, I never see people do this. Like, I don't know why people don't be thinking about this. If you are applying at an apartment, before you even put in an application, you need to get them on the phone and ask them what their approval criteria is. Don't be out here just applying at a bunch of different places, because not only will you have to pay that application and administration fee, if you get denied, they're going to hold that administration fee, you know, for a period of time until they process the refund for you. And it could possibly come in a paper check. So you don't want to count on that money and not have it available. You understand? So always make sure you call them first, ask them, hey, what does it take to get me approved for this apartment? They're going to run down a whole list for you, you know, and if you don't like one thing, I don't care what it is. If it's one thing that could possibly cause you to not get approved, you know that is not the apartment for you. Again, we're going to go based off what God is showing us is for us, right? If you are not eligible to get approved at a place, the likelihood of you getting approved is slim to none. So I need you to remember that, okay? So you see people all the time like, I'm surprised I didn't get approved, but you knew they said that your credit had to be this, and that, and your credit was not this, and that. It was. So you knew that. So make sure you pay attention. Another thing is you always want to check for the deals. If an apartment is running a special where they're waiving application fees, they're waiving administration fees, they have employee discounts, they have a preferred employer program, that's what they call it. You need to look for places like that. Those are the places you want to rock with. First month's free, 2 months free, 3 months free. Now, you need to watch out for those places where they're offering all that free rent, though, because 9 times out of 10, somebody just died there. There's people getting shot there. There's people getting robbed there. Something's going on in that area for them to offer you 3 free months. They're desperate. So watch out for those places. Now, you also want to think about what place you're going to be moving into. Like, what kind of amenities do they have to offer? One thing I didn't take more into consideration was a gym, because I do not like the gym in my neighborhood. It does what I need it to do, but I was just really looking for more compared to some of the gyms I've been at apartments in the past in Charlotte. Now, one thing about, and I'll talk about this in another, I'm not even gonna say it right now. But, so pay attention to the things you need in life. If you work out a lot, you need to pay attention to the gym. Like, and you need to ask to see the gym for real. If you're not gonna come out, make sure you take a look at the gym, because they will hoodwink you on the gym. You would think the gym is this nice, luxurious place, this big old place, and it'll be a little room, okay? So make sure you're paying attention. You're not getting catfished out here by these apartments. Because once you're in the lease, you're in the lease. You in the lease, unless you want to pay to break it. And come on, who's paying to break a lease? It's not that serious. It can be, but it's not that serious. You also need to pay attention if you want to, pay attention to if the place has a garage. Do they have, just open parking? Do they have available parking at night, or do you lose your parking spot if you leave at night? It's just so many things that you need to take a look at when you're looking for a place. But don't short yourself on the type of place you like, because I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 there will be a place for you. There's so many apartments, and specifically in Houston is huge. There's so many apartments, so many things, so many places you can live at. So take a look. Make sure you do a thorough search. Don't just jump on the first place that you come across, because you never know when you're going to be missing a deal. So make sure, like, I would just check. I'm one of these people who look at homes on Zillow all day, so I just be looking at stuff anyway. But make sure you just do a few searches. Don't just limit yourself to one search. Don't be lazy about your move, okay? It's your move. This is something that's going to be important for you. You want it to go as smoothly as possible. Now, another thing with the U-Haul that I forgot to mention is gas. You need to take gas into consideration if you're going to be traveling a long distance. I personally spent $500 at least in gas driving from North Carolina to Texas. Now, it was crazy. I could not believe it. I was so pissed. I'm like, I cannot believe this. And I kept having to stop for gas. That's another thing, too, you need to take into account, just in case you're trying to be there at a specific time. Now, luckily, my apartment complex trusted me so much, they did not even check to see who I was. Like, they left the key and everything in here for me. They had gave me an app to set up the gate and everything for me. So I didn't even have to meet with anybody. I came, I got here in the afternoon, but I thought I was gonna be here late at night. Like I told you, it took me 20 hours as opposed to taking me 14. So find those places that work with you. Good customer service is everything. If you're willing to go the extra mile for me to make sure I'm convenienced a little, especially with such a long move, like I'm gonna rock with you. So that's another reason I chose where I live at. Now, you need to also think about the commute. Like, is the apartment that you're picking a long commute from maybe a job that you plan on pursuing? Or, you know, if you're young, you might want to go to clubs. You know, you want to see how far it is from that. But keep in mind, like, places are a little different normally than when you grew up. Like, I know a lot of people in Houston, they be talking about their car be getting broken into. I'm like, that's crazy. When they go out and stuff, I'm like, that's crazy. But another thing you need to think about too is moving your car. Now, let me go back to the apartments. Now, with the apartment, me personally, I applied and got approved and everything for my apartment. I only applied one place. I didn't even apply multiple places because I knew I was gonna get it. So I didn't even want to waste too much time or anything like that. I found this, I toured this. It took me weeks to make a decision, but I only had to. Oh, and they gave me all my fees back because I got approved. So they credited to my rent. So it was Gucci, like I said. So saving money on the back end, because really, this is how you become a millionaire. You save your money. It's not about you investing in stuff. Yeah, you can invest in stuff too, but this is how you preserve your money. Like, you got to be smart with your money. You need to think about deal breakers with your apartment too. If it's a deal breaker on there for you, make sure you do not apply. Just don't do it. Just don't even waste your time. Don't be so desperate. I'm telling you, because there's something out there for you. Wait on God, okay? When it comes to any decision regarding anything that I talked about today. So now you need to think about also your car. If you have a car, this is for you. If you don't have no car, you can fast forward a little bit. But if you have a car, you need to think about if you want to move your car yourself, or if you're going to pay to have it moved for you, have it shipped to you, or if you want somebody to drive for you. Me personally, I had a nice man, my baby daddy, let me say that. He drove my car from North Carolina to Texas for me. Like, oh my God, like amazing. So I didn't even have to do anything. I drove the U-Haul and he drove my car. So I saved on that. I didn't even have to pay for gas, man. He did that for me. So I can't tell you how much it'd be in your car. But yes, if you have people in your life who will drive with you, because people want to see places too. It's not even about the drive, because, you know, road trips can be super fun. So just ask around if you have people in your life. That's awesome. And that's a great way to see if a guy really likes you. If a man will not drive across the country for you, he don't really rock with you like that. You need to drop him immediately and pick you up one who would do that for you, okay? And especially if he got a kid with you, come on now. Now, another thing you need to think about is your job. Like, are you going to be starting a new job when you come and move to a place, or are you going to keep your old job? It depends on if it's remote or not. But work is going to be important, because when you get here, you need to be making money to stay here. So make sure you think about your job. And if it's remote, you need to also think about, make sure you have your internet set up. Me personally, I told you, somebody actually delayed my trip. The devil be working so hard. You hear this dog out here barking. The devil be working so hard. I had somebody from my past come into my life and distract me, like straight distract me for days. I almost literally did not complete my move, but by the grace of God, I got it done. Late though. So I actually I started a new job when I moved here, and for a few days I couldn't even log in because my internet wasn't set up. So you need to make sure you think about that for sure. And you need to make sure you think about if you have a deposit or anything for your internet. If you owe somebody, you probably gonna have a deposit, but if not, it's free to set up. So make sure you set that up too. You need to also be thinking about electricity. Now, me personally, Houston has so many electric providers, like so many. It takes forever to go through. Now, this is something I definitely just went real quick on. So I just picked a place. The light bills here are high. So make sure you do your research on the light on the electric company. But you need to make sure you had it set up anyway, because I'm pretty sure you got to get that to your apartment complex before you even do your move-in. I think that's a requirement. So you need to also be thinking about your license when you move here. Are you going to keep a license from another state, or are you going to go ahead and switch over to the new state's license? Now, they do require you normally to surrender your license when you move to another state. Me personally, I didn't want to give up my license, so I had 2 licenses from North Carolina, so I kept one, and I gave one to the state of Texas. He was like, you want to take a picture of this? No, I don't need it. I'm good. I'm straight. Just because I wanted to. You never know. When I go back to North Carolina a lot, so I don't want them to think that I'm not from there when I go there. Like, nah, look, I'm from here. Treat me right now. If you have kids, you need to take into consideration daycares and stuff. Like, are you moving to a place where they have a daycare that you like to go to? Do you got to apply for that daycare? How's that going to go? The school that you're trying to get your kid into. Me personally, I homeschool my son, so I really don't have to take any of that into account. You hear how quiet it is in here? I got him in check. You know what I'm saying? I got him on lock. My toddler is in check. You understand me? But if he wasn't in check, I'd probably send him to school. I'd probably send him to school, but you know, it's optional. But that's something you need to take into consideration. If you're gonna have any childcare when you want to go out and stuff, like you got to take all that into consideration now. And make sure you check into if they have any fees to get them enrolled in anything. You know, that's something that's super important. So another thing you need to take into consideration is going to be setting up your home. Like if you're moving already with your furniture, and the easiest way, of course, is to sell everything before you move, but that's super hard. I tried to sell my stuff before I left, like just to try to make the move easier, and God was like, no, you keep your things. You can keep your stuff. I think somebody bought like one set that I had, like a patio set that I had, but other than that, all my other stuff, like nobody bought that stuff. Like, and I don't know what it was, but nobody bought none of that stuff. So I had to move with all my stuff from my last place, which worked out for me because I didn't have to buy anything when I moved here. But you need to pay for, I got my TVs mounted. You got to find somebody to do that. Thank God for Facebook Marketplace because I actually found a service on there and the guy came and set up my TVs for me. But you need to see if you can't put together your couch, and you ladies need to get in the gym so you can start putting together your own stuff until you get you a man, okay? Because you got to think about putting together your couch, putting together your tables, putting together your bed. Like, it's just so many moving parts. So you need to make sure you plan for that as well. Sometimes your movers will be nice to try to help you out. I know mine did. The movers, when I met them. Because when I moved to Houston, the movers who met me here were super nice. They were awesome for the most part. They dropped a few things, but other than that, we were really good. But there were two things that broke on my drive down here. It was like a big old clock that I had. I really love that clock. I don't know if I ever find it again. And something else broke. I know for sure it was that clock. I can't remember the second thing, but I had two things break. I didn't know if it was the movers that broke it here or if it broke on my way driving down. But who knows, because the roads here be kind of crazy. One of the guys who was moving my stuff in, he offered to set everything up for me. But my baby daddy was coming up anyway to drive my car up here. So I was like, nah, he gonna just set it up for me. But I knew the guy was trying to flirt with me. Like, he asked me for a Bible study. I'm like, bro, stop it. Just move my stuff in here and get up out of here. Like, I know how much you made today. I just paid you. You want to flirt with me? Make this free if you want to flirt with me. That's how you flirt with me. You don't flirt with me by asking to set my stuff up. I'm good on that. I don't need you to do that. I'm straight. So really, when you add up all that stuff, it's only about $2,500 to move. That's really not a lot, honestly. You can save that in a month. So just think about how much your budget is going to be. Write everything down. Make sure you make it plain. You got to see exactly what you need. That way you can know. That way you have a goal to at least reach. That way you can reach that goal and then go ahead and start saving for what you need when you get here. Because, you know, you got to buy little trash cans. You got to buy trash bags, tissue, paper towels. There's so many things you got to buy when you move into a place that you forget about. So make sure you just keep that on your list as well. Now, hopefully I broke down everything for you. If you have any questions about what else is required to move that I didn't cover here, you can ask down in the comments and I'll be sure to address it for you. We're going to go ahead and get into part 2 of the video where I tell you what I love or hate about Houston. So make sure you stay tuned for the next video. I'll see you there. Peace.